Now we will moving on to our following session, Youth Transition in Winter Window. Youth players face a brutal transition in January. Our next speaker, Igor Jankovic, will show how to protect, position, and promote academy talents when market scores early. With the biggest pleasure, I would like to invite Igor Jankovic to join us here on the stage and start with his presentation.
Just to make sure that I'm on the correct button. I hope you are enjoying Dildan for these couple of days here in Serbia. And do you hear me well? I don't know if the mic is correct position. It's better now. Okay. So this is my home. I started actually in 2000 as a coach, and I'm founder of the Minimaxi Football League. I've been throughout my career in the development and developing young players, promoting young players. And basically, I was here at this very place in 2011 when this technical center was inaugurated. So I'm always thrilled and happy to be here. We had here a lot of workshops, events, games back in time when I was part of the Football Association of Serbia team. Now I'm independent consultant, and basically I enjoy coming here every time. So this topic is ever relevant since ever. Clubs and associations were chasing young talents, and not only to capitalize on them from the monetary perspective, but also from the sporting perspective. I would like to have this conversation with you rather than a lecture or presentation. I will share some insights with you. It is more like to refresh the topic and to have some questions from your end. You are the experts in this area. I'm not. I'm actually just someone who is developing programs to increase participation, to increase the opportunities, and actually to assess the market and see what are the right fits, to promote players and to grow our beautiful game. So, what Arsene Wenger said about young players: the best thing for every player is to play the games, regardless of the level. That's the most important. And players that are actually sitting on the benches of the top teams, they don't grow. So it's always the best to place the player in the team where he will have opportunity to play. Another thing, transition phase for young players, 16 to 21, 22, 23, when they are transiting from youth teams to the adult game and to the professional game is becoming harsh. And this is so-called, as Arsene Wenger says, twilight zone, or the final pathway to full-scale competition. How do we get there? It's career planning, and it's gradual load and intensity of competition and training to every player. And additionally to that, the journey should include development leagues, different levels, home games, away games, international games. And you will see here from the couple of examples how it looks like. What are the key areas for development of the players? It is the mental resilience. It is the introspection and self-assessment, the ability of players to be realistic and to actually set the goals that they can achieve. So biological maturity is very important. Some most prominent players, they mature earlier, 17, 18. The most talented ones are ready for the adult game, for the competition, but majority will mature later. Mental health, also known in the research papers, is a risk period, not only for early career terminations, but also for athletes' mental health. So you all heard about mental burnout. It happens often, and this hinders players to actually grow in their career. So 97% of Premier UK academies players never reach top flight, never. That is the study from 2022, and this was the survey of the Premier League. 70% never receive a professional contract, never. So these are just some data for the context of this conversation. Relative age effects, they play also important role. They create systemic bias. And against relatively younger players in youth selection in particular. What else? Youth international success is a very poor predictor of senior international success, as the transition rate is only 15 to 40%, whereas 75 to 86% of senior players were not youth internationals. So these are all data among which you can look for the solutions in the future. You've heard of underdog or wasted talent phenomenon. Basically, the players that are in their development lagging, basically, in the end, if they survive, they actually make higher than expected senior success in case they survive. So these are players which are younger in their relative age, born in Q4 of the year. And we'll see here some examples of Q4 players. A study of the transfer market on the national teams included 9,500 national team players, showed that under 17 and under 19 players were 2 times and 1.5 times respectively more likely to successfully transition compared to the players born in Q1. We know that clubs, if you look at the teams, and especially youth academies, they will have more Q1, Q2 players, because Q3, Q4, they're basically lagging behind in their development, physically and mentally. And then it is also found that Q4 players, if they survive, they will be more worth in the market. So their market value will be higher later on. What happens with these players is basically throughout their development, they are pushing hard and they're pushing more to achieve. And that's why how they develop the mentality, and they also develop the habits, and in such way they actually outperform Q1, Q2 players. And this is data from the transfer market. So national team youth to senior transition in 5 big leagues shows that 14 to 24% of players progressed to senior level without being selected. Relative age effect is present also at the senior level in England, Spain, and Italy. Western Balkans. I will speak more about Western Balkans because this is actually my soil. This is my region. Naturally, I incline towards working with the clubs and national associations in these regions. It's also, there is no language barrier, a lot of information circulating, and this is why I will give more information here about Western Balkans. But I think it could be also important for you to know. So players from this region, they leave prematurely, and this is hindering their achievements in the future for many of them. Ex-EU or former Yugoslav republics, it's 7 countries today. They were actually, when it was a single country, at top 5 globally with number of foreign players, especially in the Western Europe. Now they are top 10 worldwide, combined, all 7 countries, Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia, Serbia, Montenegro, Macedonia, and take into account Kosovo as well. Top 5 worldwide per capita. So this small region. On the course of my MESGO thesis at UEFA Academy, in 2018, yeah, I did a research on the players because grassroots is very important. This is where we get players from into the talent pathway. So we found that every new generation is beginning to practice football 50 days earlier. It means in mid-70s, if you look at the green line down there, you can see that they had only 1 year before starting their first official 11-a-side game. Now they have almost 6 years before their first official 11-a-side game in the organized football. So in the past, in 70s, 60s, there was a lot of game on the street. Now it's much more in the clubs. If you look at the red line, it shows the age. So they were starting in average at the age of 10 to join clubs. Now they join clubs below the age of 6, already 5. So that's the trend. Players are starting to play organized football earlier, and they have more experience in the organized settings than on the street. Whether it is good or not, we'll see. But I think it is very important to have a lot of games on the street. If we look about young players, then we speak also about the transfers. We speak about the trends and what pressure it poses in the international environment, global environment. Everything went globally. Transfer history in 70s, the biggest transfer was Johan Cruyff. He transferred from Ajax to Barcelona for less than $1 million. In 80s, Maradona, he broke ice with transfers to Barcelona, 3 million, and Napoli, 5 million. So these were the news, and these were the players, still today. They made history of football. In 90s, Bosman ruling, what did it brought to us? It brought inflation of transfers. Inflation. 19.5 million. Break record transfer of Ronaldo to Inter Milan. And then 2000s. Look, 2000, Figo and Zidane, 77.5 million Zidane, 62 million Figo. These were records. And then in tens, Ronaldo, 80 million, Neymar, staggering 222 million. And then in 20s, Mbappe, 180 million. So you see the trends. This is posing pressure in the international market, but also it is opening up new opportunities for football to grow. As you can see, Saudi Arabia, a new market. In the past, it was Japan, it was China. So the players, they have journeys, and journeys are different. Smooth transitions from zero to hero, poor transitions, and we will reflect on the winter window. So what were smooth transitions? Look at these guys. They are all from this Western Balkans region. Look at them. Luka Modric. They have all something in common. You know Luka Modric. Now he's in Inter Milan. Nemanja Vidic, former Man U. And then we have Predrag Mijatovic, former Real Madrid. What they have in common? They all started in the small local clubs. Then they made transition to a best local club. From the best local club or local football school or youth academy, they transited to the most prominent national youth academies. From the most prominent national youth academies, they transited on loans. After 1 or 2 seasons on loan, they got place in their teams. Red Star Belgrade, Partizan Belgrade, Dinamo Zagreb. These were 3 out of 4 greatest clubs in the former Yugoslavia. So they had a couple of seasons there and then transition. Mijatovic, he went to Valencia. Modric, he went to Tottenham. And Nemanja Vidic, Spartak Moscow. But then, next transfers. Nemanja Vidic goes to Man U. Luka Modric, he goes to Real Madrid. And Nemanja Vidic, he goes to Manchester United. So this is where they made a legacy. They made legacy there. Luka Modric, 13 years, GOAT in Real Madrid. The oldest player to make a debut in Serie A with AC Milan, 40 years of age. He's making a debut in the Serie A. So they all really created a legacy. And Predrag Mijatovic, he brought, after 32 years, he brought with his winner, he brought a European Champion Cup back to Santiago Bernabeu after 32 years. But 32 years ago, you know who played that final? Final was played Real Madrid, Partizan Belgrade. And Real Madrid won that cup. But then after 32 years, former Partizan player comes to Real Madrid. And with his winner, the cup is back on the Santiago Bernabeu. So these are some interesting points. We are also here a bit to refresh our memories and to evoke some really good times for all of us. So from zero to hero, I will be a bit quick. Have enough time? Yeah, okay. So Jamie Vardy. So the guy is fantastic. He was released from Sheffield Wednesday. He was released with the age of 16. And then 8 years playing amateur club, small amateur club. And he was, by the way, worker. And he had a difficult life. But then couple of transfers to Halifax. And from Halifax to Leicester, he made his transfer in the age of 24. In the age of 24, transfer to Leicester, and then his legacy starts. But this is a rocky road for Jamie Vardy. From zero to hero. Today he is in Serie A, 38 years of age. Fantastic. So this is what defines actually the career of the best athletes in the world: the level of her performance and duration. And this is what you all want, scouts and managers and agents. You all want to have player that will actually go to the high level, and that the player that will last for long, because it brings also some benefits and legacy. The next one is N'Golo Kante. He's the guy. He grew up in a small French town. He played in the local club throughout his youth career, and then he signed with Boulogne in France. He signed amateur contract, and basically he was coming to the training sessions with a garbage van, from 19 to 23, and then he signed Caen, and then from Caen he went to Leicester. From Leicester, the next season he signed Chelsea, and today Al Ittihad. So what amazing journey for this fellow. So for transitions, Denzel Boadu is one of the examples. He is former Arsenal, Tottenham, and Manchester City academy player. He played for Borussia Dortmund second team, 29 appearances. He had, by the way, under 16 and under 17 English national team, 4 caps and 4 goals. The guy went back to the championship, had a preparation period, summer preparation period, and after that, 0 games, 0 goals. His career ended. So there was a glitch. There was something wrong in this transfer. So he's gone for good from football. So from zero to hero. Just another example, Harry Kane. He was released from Arsenal with age of 9 years of age. He was released, but that gave him actually a thrill, and because of that, he got drive and determination to prove them wrong. So you see that there is a bias, even in the most prominent academies. And even if you use all the most sophisticated tools and data to analyze, we are human beings. We are not machines. We are human beings. Winter transitions. One of the guys that you know so well, Erling Haaland, from FC Bruyne to FC Molde. Winter transfer, successful. From Red Bull Salzburg to Borussia Dortmund, transfer was very successful. Do you know why his transfers were successful? His transfers were successful because he's physically and mentally robust to adapt in the winter window. And then the next one, Peja Mijatovic, back again to him. When he was transferred from Podgorica, it is Montenegrin best football club, Budućnost Podgorica. He transferred to Partizan Belgrade in the winter time. And it was also a rocky road. He came as a big hope and a big new capital for the Partizan Belgrade. But he scored only one goal in that season, half season. 6 months. He was depressed, and the very next summer preparation period, a famous Miloš Milutinovic coach slapped him and told him, "Listen, wake up, wake up. You are a player destined for much greater results. Partizan is just one stop for you." And this is what actually woke him up, because coach recognized that he has potential. And by the way, he was under 20 World Cup winner in 1987 when he was just 18 years of age. So these are some inputs from me just for the conversation. Feel free to interrupt me if you want to ask questions. I would rather like to hear more from you than from myself. So what are the key challenges in this region here? I suppose for many other regions, it is early talent migration, premature departures from the national association, national clubs, underdeveloped pathways for progression, no B teams, no reserve teams, no opportunities to play and engage for young players, inadequate support systems. Players are often lacking mentorship, they're lacking support, mental support, and everything else that is required for the success of young, fragile athletes. And then limited exposure and competition, because if they're not exposed, you don't see them, and they are demotivated. When they play the game and they see nobody's watching me, then they actually get depressed and they go down. So top 10 reasons for youth dropout here, among which it's clubs focus on their status. It is not about retention and development. A biased selection and favoritism by coaches. Influence of dubious agents and scouts. We have to be honest in our conduct towards players and other stakeholders. Pressure to win over proper development. And parental community pressure for contracts over development. Financial barriers, poor training conditions, lack of parental and socioeconomic support, loss in interest due to neglect alternatives, and dropout due to injuries, burnout, and overload. These are all reasons and for players to drop out. Next, the winter window. Now we will touch a little bit about the winter window and see what does it mean for the player and for the club and for the agent and for the scouts. Summer, it is a developmental window. It is best time for planned promotion, permanent transfer of top talents. It gives time for player to adapt without pressure. Winter window, it is survival window. And you saw Mijatovic, he scored just one goal. Worst time for fragile psychological transitions. So you can transit players who are physically and mentally robust. Players that will require adaptation, it may kill them. So it's better to make transition in the summer period. Loan strategies. January, it's 6-month loan to, for example, to a desperate team without players, without good results, looking for quick solutions, cheap solutions. And then there is a high risk of sitting on the bench or playing out of the position, which is also the problem. Summer season, it's a long loan with clear playing time and with clear playing time clause, which is excellent for development. So you can say to the club, yes, we can loan this player, but we have a minimum time for him. We must set a minimum time and minutes for his half season or full season. And then recommendations. We have to be ethical. We have to be honest. We have to build strong foundations with our stakeholders to succeed and to make success, to improve the image of football game, and to attract new talents, and to motivate them to stay, to survive. We need to know our players, know our clubs. If you know the players and you know the clubs, you know what is the best fit. Manage expectations of the player, of the player's family. No misunderstandings, no bad energy. Create positive environments. Develop ecosystems with human-centric and player-centric philosophies. If you ask me about all these points here, I see the points which are negative, but I see plenty of positive points and solutions, because you find solutions where there is a space. Where is the space for solutions? There, where are the problems? There you have the space for solutions. Because if everything is fine, there is no space for solutions. Everything is fine, correct? So, final message. The winter transfer window is not a development window. For young players, it is high transition risk. And what will protect the value of the player? Is it a playing time, role clarity, psychological readiness? We have to stop moving players and start managing careers and expectations. And basically, it is not a rocket science. This is just something to be mindful and to be aware of the context. Context is very important for you. You have global context, but you have local context. You have demographic context. You have geographic context. You have cultural context. This is all that is affecting the transition of young players and how many young players we will have. Thank you very much for your attention. Any questions? Yeah.
Hello, Igor.
Hello.
Thank you for your great speech. So we who are local here knows your knowledge and your achievements. So I would like to ask you your opinion if it's a mistake in young categories here in Serbia that Serbian players did not play in top 5 leagues. If they are playing, they are not important as before. Thank you.
Okay, good question. Thank you. We need actually to take care about our teachers. We need to take care about coaches. We need to take care about club culture. We need to take care how we manage people, if we can say so, how we manage players. And this is all setting their final destination or their final height they will reach. It is how we conduct the practice, how we conduct our communication, how much we are ethical in our conduct, and not only looking for money, because we need also to look for the legacy. We need to look to produce sports value, because when you produce a sports value, when you produce a good business result, all of you who perform well in your business, you don't chase money. You're not chasing money. You are chasing achievement. And money comes just as a consequence of everything well you did. The achievement in the career also comes as a consequence of everything you invested on the pathway to become the best. And if you look at the best athletes, they reach a level and then they endure. They have money, they have everything. But what is driving their achievements? It is their intrinsic motivation. They have it here to achieve. What drives, for example, Novak Djokovic? He has everything. Why he should be so devoted to tennis at this age? Because he has motivation for the achievement. and to achieve the most he can. And this is how you can actually create players. But you need a guide for a blind or visually impaired. You need a guide. So that's it. Yeah.
Thank you. Regarding Novak Djokovic, I would like just to add one more thing, and also regarding to your presentation, just one more sentence. The more disadvantaged your childhood is, the stronger you become. And we love that quote.
Very good one.
So one more person, just reserved a short question, and then we are following.
Short answer, yes. Sorry, I will steal 30 seconds of your time. Thank you for the great presentation. I would like to end up on a light note. I want to push back on one point from a club's perspective, because I was a club president for a long time. Regarding the winter loans, you have to also take into consideration that from the club side, sometimes you sign obviously to fill an urgent position during the winter as a loan, but at the last phases of the league, last few games, you don't get too much performance from the player, because obviously in their minds they are thinking about the summer window, etc. So that's also a risk factor.
Very good point.
Yeah, it's very important in my observation, especially if you are fighting relegation, etc. So my funny question is this. I'm also a very data-driven person.
Okay.
How important do you think the factor of luck in all this process in football? Because in my experience, people hate to talk about luck because it makes them look stupid, to be honest. But I also think that there's a big factor of luck in short windows.
Okay, on your question, I will ask the audience here. How many of you are former players? Youth team players. How many of you played football or be athlete in youth age? How many of you proceeded to the professional level? One. International professional level? None. Or one. Okay, so you see here the pyramid. I experienced myself that I was dropped out. I was unlucky because when I was in the best shape, I got injury and I was out. So that's the luck. And then returning back, when the golden carriage is gone, then it's too late. When you miss the train, if you manage to get on the train, but the wrong one, every next stop is a wrong stop. And that's the case. Yeah.
It was such an honor to have you here today as a speaker. Please give one more round of applause for Igor Jankovic. Thank you, Igor, very much.